I've covered Guild SAGA VANISHED WORLds when it launched in early access more than a year ago. Ocelot Studio seemed to have liked the video and approached me with a paid promotion to do another one. Really thankful for the opportunity, especially because I have high hopes for Guild SAGA considering what it already offers. Version that is going to be showcased in this video is 0.6 and the latest one at the time of making this video. Developers are gradually adding content, so new areas have been added with the story progressing further. Gamepad support has been added as well. What even is Guild SAGA, you bewildered bastards? Divinity Original Sin mixed with JRPG is how I would describe it. Strange mix, but it works really well. Divinity Original Sin systems are here copied to the letter almost. To me it is interesting to see how Divinity system works in another game, and gotta say it really holds up, especially in combat. JRPG part is due to character model portraits and dialogue style at times. There's a certain aspect where Guild SAGA stands out. Do you notice something truly incredible while I'm walking around the main city? It was the first thing that caught my eye when playing the game a year ago. It's the amount of different character and enemy models. I've never seen so many different character models in a game, truly impressive. Usually games copy-paste lots of models in order to save time, which is understandable. But Ocelot Studio said fuck that, we'll make NPCs and enemies as diverse and interesting as possible. The thing I usually say about RPGs is that they don't utilize the fantasy setting enough in terms of races, models, backgrounds, ways to play. Guild SAGA doesn't fall into that category because it's so interesting to look at all those varied models. This creates so much mystery and interest due to the unique aesthetics that most NPCs and enemies have. Look at these undead bastards chilling on the beach, writing poems, drinking, partying. Every NPC model is unique. Everyone feels unique and has a story to tell, which is also important. Interesting stories at that. It is clear that Guild SAGA has a very strong art style that will automatically attract many players, for a good reason. I'm not a fan of pixelated style, which is entirely subjective preference, but some games do it in a way that is attractive even to someone like me. Look at combat animations and effects. Everything is done right. Not too many visual effects, but just enough to add necessary visual descriptors that add more weight to every move. The most important of all are death animations that add tons of kill satisfaction. I've been screaming into the void for a long time now how important effects, hit feedback and death animations are, especially in turn-based games due to more static gameplay nature based around tactics. When combat encounters are meaningful, like they are in Guild SAGA, what is more satisfactory than outthinking the enemy and then watching the fruit of your mental labor in the form of an impactful death animation? I always give the same example for people to understand the importance of death animations. Fallout 1 and 2, my favorite games of all time, with the weakest aspect being combat. But due to incredibly high kill satisfaction, I couldn't wait to get into another encounter just to see in what nasty ways enemies are going to die. Every enemy model has unique death animation, which is really cool, especially considering how many different enemy models there are. I love when developers make additional effort in these important but often neglected aspects. Of course, the most important thing is the combat gameplay after all. If you like Divinity Original Sin's combat, you'll love Guild SAGA's, because it's essentially the same thing in a pixelated world and in a different art style. Surface system is here with all the familiar combinations, which adds tons of depth. For example, if there is a patch of frozen ground, characters are going to slide across until they hit another character or object. Then there are classic combinations of electrified water or simply dousing fire with rain spell. Not only there is deep play on elements and surfaces, but also status effects. For example, if Mandrake's summon gets doused, it grows significantly, becoming more powerful. Then there's plenty of status effects that affect characters in many ways. For example, fear reduces action points but increases movement points, which kinda makes sense. During terrible fear you just want to run away as far and as fast as possible. Combat system utilizes the armor and magic barrier system, same as in Divinity Original Sin. It's a system that requires armor or magic barrier to be removed in order to damage health points. There's also abilities that directly damage health. So far in the early game it's not that difficult to remove armor and magic barrier to get to health. Seems like developers have reduced the armor amount and increased health points, which is in my opinion a good change. Great thing about the system is that it encourages diverse team setup to be more effective. But with reduced armor amounts and increased health points, it means that a single damage type team is more viable now. We'll see how it plays later. Biggest issue people had with armor and the magic barrier system in Divinity was the inability to crowd control before breaking the armor. I haven't really played that much with crowd control except for freezing enemies, and magic barrier wasn't an issue in those instances. It broke easily due to lower values, so playing with a few crowd control options wasn't an issue. Was never frustrated due to inability to crowd control is my point. Hope that stays throughout the game. I have to commend the developers for what they've done with combat encounters. Almost every encounter is meaningful. I was playing at Tactician difficulty and the game is going to challenge the player all the time with different setups leading to different types of danger. Every fight can potentially go hard till the very end on Tactician. Enemies have a variety of attacks, resistances and can destroy party members fast if not careful. I utilized summons a lot to deal with the encounters more easily. Makes the game a lot easier. Hopefully balancing around summons gets improved by the final release. AI or CPU or whatever controls enemies needs more work as well. All of them usually target the same party member, which is the weakest one, or however they interpret that. Upon using summons, those become the weakest ones that they target all the time, which makes using summons a bit cheesy. Overall, enemy AI definitely needs more depth. It would make combat encounters even more interesting. What I've also noticed is the importance of consumables. It's an aspect that I often overlook in RPGs because usually there's no need for it, but in Guild Saga using scrolls, all sorts of potions and eating food is a must on Tactician. This makes interacting with the crafting system a necessity. It's a simple system that allows crafting all types of important items like food, scrolls, potions, armor, weapons, accessories. Guild Saga offers a variety of combat skills per class. A lot of the same ones from Divinity Original Sin from what I remember. Particular highlight for me are rogues. One of the more enjoyable rogue classes in RPGs when done like this. Skills that allow teleportation behind the enemy and striking them with backstab. Then flank skill that allows teleportation anywhere. Backflip that allows free disengage next to throwing caltrops on the ground. Shadow Assassin Summon. Great thing about this character build system is the flexibility. My team consists of warrior aeromancer mix, with useful aeromancy skill that switches position with the party member. Then the mix of a hydro, pyro and a bit of rogue so that flanking option can be used to escape nasty situations and also to summon Shadow Assassin. Then there's a combination of Geomancer, Cleric and Hunter with good buff and restoration options next to decent attack. And last but not least, Rogue and Warlock combination with leeching health options next to classic Rogue abilities. Enough about the gameplay, let's talk a bit about the world and writing. World is an interesting one with a good bit of mystery, deep lore, puzzles and an island that is almost impossible to get to, which is of course the destination of our journey. No one knows what is happening on that small island. Also, everyone is stranded on the main island due to the nasty storms, creatures and all kinds of other dangers that prevent sailing. With more problems arising, the inhabitants are in bigger danger than ever. From what though is the question. History of the region tells a story about elves, the original inhabitants, being overrun by one of the major human houses. With the help of other houses they settled and claimed the land for their own. After that the island started to decay, becoming more dangerous over time. Elves also have their own gods that the player is going to meet during the adventure. Interesting deities vastly different to one another. Human factions consist of many houses, each specializing in a certain thing. Some houses specialize in smuggling, other ones in healing, and so on. Each house has a deep history and connection to other houses. Tons of secrets as well. Azure Company, chemists that focus on healing people, have a nasty secret of their own that the player gets to uncover. As part of the Heroes Guild, our goal is to help as much as we can and figure out what's going on in the region. Writing overall is solid, with enough interesting and quirky things keeping the attention of the player. There's quite a few pop culture references, humor, dark stories, plenty to like. Since this is an early access, here are some of my recommendations on how to make the game as best as possible for the release date. Area loot would be such a nice addition. It's tedious going around looting one container at a time. Too many things to check and loot. Area loot could sort this easily. Inventory, even with filters and search function, could be better. Shared inventory would help a lot. Going through each character's inventory is again tedious. With pixelated icons, it's even tougher to get through it all because it's harder to recognize. Now for something really subjective. I know this won't happen, but just gonna throw it out there. One of the problems I have with pixelated games is when everything is pixelated. That means small things like character portraits on screen, all the icons, inventory items are pixelated. For me, it's too much pixelization. I get that it's a pixelated art style, which is fine, but for it to stand out more, non-pixelated small stuff would add more clarity on the screen and more distinction, so that not everything is obvious pixels. At least that's how I see it. I would put character portraits as regular images because pixelated images do nothing for me. Item icons normal, skill icons normal, and things like that. That would add more clarity to the UI and the game in general, and would help pixelated art style to pop out a bit more. I would also like to see more detailed log data. For example, the chance to hit is never displayed, so every attack is shot in the dark. What is hit chance being affected by? Also total damage breakdown that would say something like base damage plus bonus from this, plus bonus from that, minus resistance from this, minus resistance from that. In RPGs I like a lot when developers give us a breakdown of what is happening. There's no reason to hide such information in games where builds matter. There's no downside, and the upside is that no one needs to waste their time guessing and doing tests as to what affects what. Just a few suggestions. Guild Saga remains a highly promising RPG that I will definitely play and cover fully once it releases. Intriguing story, lore, quests, tough combat, character builds and incredible art style are hard to ignore. Currently in early access for €20 and probably a similar amount in dollars. There's a free demo as well, and that's about it. Again, thanks to Ocelot Studios for sponsoring the video. Looking forward to the full release when it happens. That's it, thanks for watching.